Very good morning, everybody. Today is the third day of our fourth season of the presentations. Semester 4 students are making their presentations. In this morning slot, we will have presentations on research methodology by these students. Let me share a screen to have the list of presenters and their topics. So Aarti will start the presentation. The topic is what is plagiarism and what are its consequences. Then Anjali will make it on what is bibliography, difference between bibliography and citation. Avani will make it on academic honesty. Bhavyata on role of paraphrasing in research writing. Drashti on the mechanics of writing. Gayatri on forms of plagiarism. Ghanshyam will make it on using web resources in academic writing. Gopi's presentation on use of paraphrasing in research writing. We hope there will be different examples given by both the presenters whose topics are similar. Hetal will make it on defining plagiarism, types and solutions to avoid it in research writing. And finally, in the morning slot, Hina's presentation will be on selection of a topic. You can rather say selection of a research topic. That way it will be more better. Okay, so let us start with the first one. Aarti, you can start with your presentation. It was already shared. You have stopped sharing. Share again.
Presentation in which I am going to present on the topic what is plagiarism and what are its consequences. These are my personal information. Table continue. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism is neither copying or nor borrowing somebody else's intellectual property. And this term actually demeans the severity of plagiarism as an issue. Instead, plagiarism is actually a fraudulent activity carried out by an individual to pass somebody else's work off as 100% their own. According to Cambridge Dictionary, plagiarism is the process of a practice of using another person's ideas or works and pretending that it is your own. The technique for detecting plagiarism are becoming increasingly advanced, and the consequences are harsher. So, there are three types of plagiarism. Direct plagiarism, in which plagiarism, the person is the person take some of the words from another person's words. That is called direct plagiarism. In the mosaic plagiarism, there are some. The person takes some of the paragraphs from the works. And in the complete plagiarism, there are the person takes whole works and give their own consequences of plagiarism. First is academic consequences. In academic consequences, with the cause of plagiarism, assignment or project can be cancelled or penalized. It can be cause of course failure and expulsion for university. If if your work is being claimed to copyright, then your work can be failed, and it by this your research work or thesis or dissertation can be rejected. And another is reputational damage, that it destroys the credibility in academia. Uh, uh, by this, the difficulty gaining admission or publishing elsewhere. Then, if you are using most of the content from another works, and then or if you are claiming to being plagiarized, then you are finding some problems to gain the admission or publish your works. Another is professional consequences. In job termination or inability to get hired, it can be lose your license or certificates. It damages your personal and company reputation. Then, if you are claiming to copyright, or you are having a plagiarism, then it can be it can damage your personal things, and legal repercussion. Uh, if you are having a copyright claim, then then you have to pay some money, or can also be goes to jail as a result of plagiarism. In academic discipline, the plagiarism can also be harm your academic reputation. If you are having a plagiarism crime, then or you are taken most of the works from another works and give it to your own, then in the learning process you are having the lack of knowledge, and you are also getting don't get the skill development. Your performance your performance can also be damaged by this, and you are not if you are not having your personal ideas, then you cannot be think critically also. And another is the quality in reduced. If you are having a plagiarism crime, then your most of the contents can be comes from another works. Then it cannot be connect the dots of your own, and the content is also not relevant to your topic, your topic and your ideas. Your presentation or your research works can be committed as can be having a poor logic and flow, and it is the last one is ethical branch. In the plagiarism can be a violation of academic integrity of integrity principles. It can be erosion of trust and your academic information. It also devaluate your credential and qualification by the copywriting. You can lose your values in academics and as well as in your qualifications. How to avoid your plagiarism? You can use your own words and ideas. ideas in this. And another is give you, if you are taking another person's works or material, then you have to give credit them and give credit them. You have to avoid using other works with minor cosmetic changes. Um, and there are no freebies. You have to always cite words, information, and ideas if you are using it by another person's work. And uh, and you, if you are you want to avoid plagiarism, then you have to cite it. You have to cite it. In citing, you are having in citing, you are having minor cases of plagiarism. Conclusion. Plagiarism carries a disastrous consequences across academic and professional spheres. It can terminate educational pursuit through failed classes and expulsions, while irreparably damaging one's own reputation. In careers, plagiarism risks job loss, legal battles, and ruined professional standing. More fundamentally, it violates ethical principles and devalues hard-earned traditions. Plagiarism hired true learning and skill development while delivering substandard work. Through tempting as a perceived shortcut, plagiarism provides no real benefits and can swiftly become an insurmountable setback. Ethically upholds academic integrity through responsible research and citation is the only path to preserving credibility and achieving legitimate success. If you want to take another person's work, then it is most important to cite that it is only the way to it is only the way to um, to preserving a great legitimate work. These are the references. Now you can ask the question.
Aarti, Kukadiya, my question is, how does the ethical dilemma surrounding plagiarism shape our perception of it as a potential crime?
If plagiarism is our ethical dilemma surrounding plagiarism shape that is plagiarism is a crime if you are not citing it properly. If you are not citing, then it can be a crime. If you are citing it or take some of the content, then it cannot be having a crime.
Aarti, as your presentation deals with the topic of consequences of plagiarism, then how does it impact the original author or creator?
In plagiarism, it is sometimes impacts on the author and author that the, their content can their content is now, if you are taking and give your own name, then their content can also be given a name of your own. Then and in the creator is using having a plagiarism crime, then creator also damages their own personal, their own professional career and their own their intellectual ideas. Hello, good morning to all of you. Myself Anjali Rathod, and today is the third day of the presentation, season 4, on the paper research methodology, in which my present topic is what is bibliography and difference between bibliography and citation. Here is the table of contents in which I am going to deal with my whole presentation. Bibliography and citation. The most important and essential part of any work of research is the biography. It is not only authenticates the work of the author, but also helps the future researchers of the of a similar interest to go to the work cited and thereby widen their knowledge. There are different style of formats which are used in citing the works referred. What is bibliography? Bibliography is a list of authors and their contributions used in the study. It enables the readers to find out the original item. Keeping track of the resources that might be useful for the research is very important, and such a record is called a working bibliography. The sources can also be divided into groups: those already consulted, those yet to be consulted, and such care should also be taken that the entire publication detail is recorded and saved. Focus should be on the authority, accuracy, and currency of the sources. Articles taken from a peer-reviewed journal ensures good quality, as these journals go in for expert comments on the papers before publishing them. So, in working books, thesis or any other papers, we may recite the findings or workings of others. It is not seen to cite others in the study. If we use others' contributions in the study, we must acknowledge them both in text and in the reference also. So, citation is a way of giving credit to individuals for their creative and intellectual works that you utilized to support your research. It can also be used to locate particular sources and combat plagiarism. Typically, a citation can include the author's name, date, location of the publishing company, journal title, or a digital object identifier. Citation style dictates the information necessary for a citation and how the information is ordered, as well as punctuation and other formatting. This is the infographics of bibliography, types of bibliography, reference bibliography, historical bibliography, physical bibliography, and referral bibliography under the two subpoint of bibliography: enumerative bibliography, annotated bibliography, and physical bibliography under the two subpoint: analytical bibliography and descriptive bibliography. Converting the working bibliography to the works cited list. Eventually, you will transfer your working bibliography into a works cited list. If your working bibliography is in a computer file, edit the entire to remove unnecessary information like origin of reference, call number, etc. And arrange them alphabetically by author and title the list works cited. And And here is the example that arrangement of entire work cited, like if two or more entries citing co-authors begin with the same name, alphabetized by the last names of the second authors listed. Here is the example of the work cited of the same name authors. A list of the format. When you have finished the paragraph of your paper, transfer the edited bibliography file to end of the file containing the paper, and the list of works cited appears at the end of the paper. Begin the list on a new page and number of each page, continuing the page number of the text. For example, in the text, your research paper ends on the page number 10, and the works cited list begins on the page number 11. The page number appears in the upper right hand corner, and the works cited in each from the top of the page. Double space between the title and the first entry. Begin each entry plus with the left margin. If the entry runs more than one line, indent the subsequent line or a line 1/2 inch from the left margin. This format is sometimes called hanging indentation, and you can set your word processor to create it automatically for a group of paragraphs. Hanging indentation makes the alphabetical list easier to use, and double left space the entire list both between and within a text, and continue the list on the one as many pages as necessary. Importance of bibliography and citation. Bibliography is one kind of super source list, and citation is like mentioning the source right there in your report next to the fact you borrowed, and citation help avoid plagiarism. And citation is like inside superhero. And why are these important? So here is the third point, that 3 point. Credibility is the citation and bibliography make your work trustworthy. And then fairness. Fairness, it is like giving credit to your classmates for helping you with with your like project or YouTube video or any other. Then you wouldn't want them to take all the credit. And then double checking. The double checking, if someone wants to learn more, they can easily find the sources which you used. Bibliography and citation. Any differences? Ordinarily, both references and bibliography are used when preparing a project or research report. They are both ordered and arranged alphabetically by authors' names and then chronologically by years of publications. In the course of writing, one is expected to consult various sources of information such as books and journals. In doing so, one would normally put down the details of the books and journals used. At the end of the report, one would compile a list of all the sources. Now, a list of all sources of publications of source data actually used and cited in the body of the report would constitute the references. On the other hand, if you include other relevant materials in the completion, whereas you did not cite some of them in the report, you would refer to this list as the bibliography. In sort of bibliographical list is made up of both the materials which you referred to in the report and those you did not refer to but which you considered equally useful. As observed earlier, there is no conceptual distinction between the two terms. A significant difference only arises in their practical applications and structural arrangement, which depend on referencing style and used by the researchers. Difference between bibliography and citation. It is taken from Gemini. Sorry, Gemini, and citation is like a quick in text sort out. You give to a specific source you used in your writing. Think of it like giving credit to someone for their work. It is important to be honest about where you got your ideas. Bibliography includes all the sources you actually used in your research, whether one can directly cite them or not. Basically, it is a full list of all the books, articles, websites, etc. That helped to write research papers. This gives readers a chance to see how much research you did and where they can go to learn more about your topic. In conclusion, that it is maintaining a working bibliography, providing in-text citations, and compiling a comprehensive reference list or bibliography is crucial for scholarly writing. It demonstrates research diligence, integrity in giving credit, and enables readers to retrieve your work. Consistent use of bibliographic citations is an essential practice across academic disciplines. Here is the references. Now, if you have any questions, then ask.
Anjali, for you, my question is what makes a bibliography annotated and when is this format used?
Annotated bibliography. It includes the brief descriptive and evaluative summary after each full citation, and no one is an annotated bibliography. And this allows you to summarize the relevance, accuracy, and quantity of each source. Annotated bibliographies are especially helpful for literature reviews to concisely present an overview of the sources considered and their contributions. And the annotated bibliography takes more effort, but it is provide value.
Anjali, when might a bibliography be preferred over just a reference list?
Bibliographies are more common in fields like literature reviews and other, where providing an extensive overview of the scholarship sources on the topic of is valued even beyond what is directly cited in the text. And annotated biographies which summarize each source are also used to efficiently convey an accounting of the relevant materials examined. For example, like it used in various considered like a literature review, in which this allows to gain a broad understanding of the existing literature on the subject, and other one is the historical and the theoretical framework. So it demonstrates the depth and breadth of the researcher's knowledge of the field. And methodological approach. Methodological approach, it is a research project employs a unique or specialized methodological approach can be used to cite and explain the sources that informed the chosen methodology. And interdisciplinary research, where sources from various fields and are consulted. A bibliography can help organize and contextualize the diverse range of source used. Thank you.
Good morning to you all. I'm Jani, and today I'm going to deal with the topic of academic honesty. Here is the list of points that I'm going to deal with today. What is academic honesty? The University of Georgia defines academia honesty as completing all academic work without cheating, lying, stealing, or receiving assistance from any other person or using any source of information not appropriately authorized or attributed. Academic dishonesty, which encompasses behaviors such as cheating, plagiarism, and falsification of data citation, is a widespread and troubling phenomenon in higher education. It may be simple as looking over a classmate's shoulder during a quiz, or as elaborate as hiring ghostwriter online for a course of paper. But whatever the method employed, academic dishonesty harms learning experience and gives cheaters an unfair advantage over those who abide by the rules. Here are the consequences of academic dishonesty mentioned by Northern Illinois University considers these 8 main aspects. That is, consequences for academic dishonesty, social consequences, those of intellectual property, inaccurate assessment, practical concerns, legal consequences, other social academic consequences, students' self-esteem. NP 2020. The NP 2020 also mentions about the academic honesty, use, integration of technology to improve multiple aspects of education to be supported and adopted, provided these interventions are rigorously and transparently evaluated in the relevant context before they are scaled up. While the debate of open book exam is also ongoing, at the time, Hindu mentions about the academic honesty that teachers should know that an open book examination works better than answers cannot be readily extracted from materials, text, and reference books during the test. There are 6 values of academic honesty. First one is honesty. Honesty begins with the individuals to extend out into the larger community. In study halls and laboratories, libraries, playing fields, and classrooms, cultivating practicing honesty lays a foundation for lifelong integrity. Here are some ways to demonstrate honesty. First one is be truthful, give credit to honor of the work, keep consider all sides and one's own potential preconceptions. Trust. Within the academic community, it is imperative that the authenticity of the work, whether organized from students or researchers, remain unquestionable. Equitable application of standards ensure the integrity of contribution, fostering an environment where trust thrives. Such trust permanent, allowing for the seamless integration of the exciting research into new inquiries and facilitating progress with assurance. Here are some ways to demonstrate trust. Fairness. Key fairness components include predictability, transparency, and clear expectations. All academic members deserve fairness. Faculty lead with the clarity and integrity. Students produce original work and uphold the integrity, and administrators provide just policies, consistent responses to dishonesty, and impractical evaluation build the trust between faculty and the students. All the job and all the especially education things, kind of things works in the fairness. As far as when the policy and all the things that are transparent and that are fair, the job and the education system works on that. Ways to demonstrate fairness. Respect. Respect in academia is mutual. Self-respect involves upholding personal values while respecting others and initial embracing diverse opinions. Scholarly success hinges between on valuing the community members and their varied perspectives. Here are some ways to demonstrate respect. Responsibility. Upholding integrity is both personal and a collective. Every academic community member is responsible for maintaining integrity in the scholarship, teaching, research, and service. Shared accountability empowers positive change and inspires integrity. Responsibility involves standing against misconduct, resisting peer pressure, and setting positive examples. Some ways to demonstrate responsibility. And the last, courage. Courage, a quality of a character, can be developed through the practice. It involves acting in line with one's values despite fear. In academic integrity, courage entails upholding standards even when facing risk. Faculty, students, and administrators must exhibit courage to maintain integrity and hold others accountable. Here are some ways to demonstrate courage. In conclusion, academic honesty stands as the cornerstone of the scholarly pursuits, embodying values such as integrity, trust, fairness, and respect, responsibility, and courage. Here are the works cited. Now, if there is any question.
Avani, how does the balance between individual accountability and institutional responsibility influence efforts to promote academic honesty?
To promote academic honesty, the essence of being honest relies on the both parties. First, as well first for students as well as for the teachers. That teachers shall provide all the materials and all the knowledge of ethics, and the students also shall grasp all the knowledge and all the details that are given by the teachers. And in this both way, in this both integration, the academic honesty becomes most prominent and most helpful at the both level. So that's it.
Avani, my question is for you is how do power dynamics within academia, including those between faculty and students or among researchers, influence the prevalence and consequences of academic dishonesty?
Again, this is the question of ethics. As we often say in Gujarati that જેવું અવેડામાં હોય એવું પાણીમાં જેવું પાણી હોય અવેડામાં એવું વેચાય પાણી. તો but you know that means that means when the teacher distributes the ideas of dishonesty, and students also grasp the idea of dishonesty. But when teacher implies the blind faith on the student, and the student also get the response of dishonesty from the teachers, and they betray their teacher in the while conducting dishonest crimes. So this is how the honesty and the dishonesty comes from the teachers, and the teacher who has blind faith on the students, and the students who cheats teachers are they shall conduct the quality of dishonesty. That's it from my side.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the third day of presentation, and today my presentation topic is role of paraphrasing in research writing. So let's start. Uh, Here is my personal information, table of content. Start with meaning of paraphrasing. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, restatement of a text, passage, or word, giving the meaning in another way. Paraphrasing means rewriting the same information in a different way. It helps you better to integrate the ideas into the particular piece you are writing. Uh, how to paraphrase some parts from the text. So here is the idea. Some characteristics of paraphrasing. It's recreate the original passage in your own word and sentence structure. It is include the main ideas and supporting details from the original passages. It is usually as long as the original passage, and it's include in text, citation, and bibliographic entry. Some importance of paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is important because it shows you understand the source well enough to write it in your own words. It also gives you a powerful alternative to using direct quotes, which should be used infrequently. It is useful way to use sources material for your research paper, essay, providing it is appropriately referenced. In academic essays, it is not acceptable to just copy and paste sources, add references, and presto, finished essay. It prevents learns from plagiarism, as the experienced language to writers who are familiar with paraphrasing techniques have been found to rely less on sources text than their native peers. So the question is when to paraphrase. We can, as a research writer, we can paraphrase from original text, original wording, technical or legal phrases. We can take some quotes and other things. Conducting lengthy quotes to include only essential points. Reporting information from the sources, using different words to show comprehensive. Some benefits to paraphrasing. According to Bailey, effective paraphrasing is considered as an important part of academic skills. Attach some paraphrasing tools which they can help us to paraphrase some words or some parts of text. Here I take an example of Ramadani article. Here he take some quotes and paraphrasing that she paraphrased from the, and we can see it is we can see the paraphrase. It's a good way to paraphrase some parts of text. Here is a short piece from the Bailey written book. It is there has been much debate about the reasons for the industrial revolution happening in 18th century Britain rather than in France or Germany. This is the real original one, and here is the paraphrase. Why the industrial revolution occurred in Britain in the 18th century instead of on the continent has been the subject of considerable discussion. Here we can see the paraphrase one. It is better and good one for paraphrase. The example shows how Bailey takes the main idea from the original passage and puts it into her own words. This helps us understand how to do a good paraphrase. It is Crucial for research paper to use paraphrasing effectively to ensure accuracy and validity. To conclude, paraphrasing is an important skill. It means restating ideas from other sources in your own words. Paraphrasing shows you understand the material. It lets you explain things clearly using simple language. Paraphrasing also helps you to blend sources naturally into your own writing. Why some quotes are okay, you should mostly paraphrase. Learning to paraphrase well will make your writing better. It prevents copying word for word accidentally. Paraphrasing is a useful skill for schoolwork and life and in our research paper. Here is the references. Now you can ask me a question.
Bhavyata, how long can paraphrased portion be before needing to cite an original source again?
As per my reading, there is no rule for portion needed to original do citation. But as per my opinion, we can cite every source which we have taken in our text, and we have to cite that source. Even we change some idea, and we can if we can take some ideas from that source. So as per my opinion, we have to cite that source. So it uh, 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 it is better to cite any source which we use for your work or research paper, uh, or else it will show like you have stole something from that source or that site. It's better for us and to cite that site resource.
As per your understanding, what is your opinion on how paraphrasing skills can be practiced and developed over time?
As per my opinion, we can, as a new person, we can start with a simple text or a simple language text, which will help us to uh, be a good paraphraser. And as per my reading, and I done dissertation, so we can take help our friends and teachers and a person who have better knowledge about that. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today is the third day of presentation season 4, and today's papers and is research methodology. So I have selected the topic of the mechanics of writing. So let's start. This is my personal and academic information. The roadmap of presentation is like this. So first we have to know that what is mechanics of writing. So mechanics of writing is like how we start, how we learn car and how car mechanics works, like injecting fuels and giving it motions like that. So how that works like that. The mechanics of writing are similar. Think of term as instruments for better writing, and it's like go for writing. And in short, you can learn how to write well until you don't understand the mechanics of writing. And mechanics are the small part of writing that sticks everything together to ensure that everything makes sense and that emphasize its place where you want it to. Most writers could benefit from a refresher on grammar basics. And let's face it, some of us may be learning some of this basic for the first time. Like if we don't understand how it works, then we cannot write an effective or communicative writing, which is like academic writing. Good grammar shapes your credibility and your reputation as an intelligence professional. So these are some essential of writing mechanics. Mastering the mechanics of writing encompasses precision in writing research. Here are some factors in mechanics of writing. So these are some factors which can be used during this mechanics of writing. First is spelling, punctuation, italics, name of persons, numbers, title of box in the research paper, quotations and capitalization and person names in language and other than English. So here is first spelling. So nowadays we have this app for correcting our grammars and spellings, like Grammarly and other dictionaries are also there which we used during our writing, like academic writing. It has consistent words, division, and plurals foreign words. For example, there is one example word color. So we used color spelling differently, like COLOUR, and some use COLOR without U. So that's how you spells in mechanics of writing. And if there is a spelling, you don't need to change it. Like there are names which are from other languages, so you don't need to change that names or spellings in your writing. And second one is punctuation. So the primary purpose of punctuation is to ensure that clarity and readability of your writing. When we don't use punctuation marks in our writing, that means that we are not professionally writing, or we didn't know about how to write academically. And it clarifies sentence structure, separations of words, and grouping of punctuation adds meaning to writing words and guides the understanding of readers as they move through sentence. Here is one example that I speak English, that is punctuation. After that French and Thai. If we don't use punctuation, then it's like I speak English, French, and Thai. It doesn't make sense. So that's why we need to use punctuation in our writing. Next one is italics. So italic style of type is which the characters slangs to the right column. In that more visually pleasing than understanding, if sometimes less when we use italics, when we use like words of some specific things or some writers and works like that. And for example, we use quotation. In quotation, we use italics to put emphasis on that. Name of persons. Ensure that the first time you use a person's name in the text of your research paper, state it full and accurate. Exactly as it appears in your sums. Like for example, Arthur George Rust Jr. Do not change Arthur George Rust Jr. to Arthur George Rust. It's like unprofessional kind of thing. Like when you use the name of person, you have to use that first name. After that, when you do citation, it comes like surname. So you don't need to change. Numbers are like Roman numbers, page numbers, main point, sub point. And if you are using data, then you have to use numbers in percentage and other things. So here is examples like 1, 2, 3, and then is Roman numbers. So here is that. Title of works in research. So when you cite the title of publishing works in your research paper, take the title from the title page, not from the other things. Like when you are citing something which is authentic, then you have to take the similar title. You don't need to change that title in a citation or any other way. For example, from the cover of or a running head of the top of the page. When you are citing something, there is a front page or any cover page, then you have to take the title from that. Another one, mechanics of writing is quotation. We all know that how quotations are important in our research papers or in our presentation. So I'll not explain that. Capitalization. Capitalization, when we use that, we are writing in other languages like Latin words, German words, then we need to use that capital C. So here is one research paper. It's like a manual of mechanics of writing by Raymond Woodbury, Pence's. So it emphasizes the importance of clarity and correctness in writing. It critiques the glorification and justification of war, alliance with Kant's philosophy that oppose violence. And banks manually provide numerous guidelines for the correcting writing, including rules for capitalization, hyphenation, and exception to spelling and punctuation marks. Another one is the mechanic of accuracy for students in writing. According to Nimavat, writing serves as a crucial tool for communication. When we want to write, which is not free writing, we need to clarify our things with the help of this mechanics of writing, which studies underscoring the importance of clarification and consciousness in conveying idea effectively. Poor writing can result in confusion and negative perception among readers, highlighting that the necessity of mastering writing skills for success, particularly in the academic environment where written tasks are prevalent. So, mechanics of writing is very important for students who write research papers or dissertation like us. Teaching the mechanics of writing systematically. So, another research paper, or we can say article, which is written by William McCody, proposes a systematic approach to teaching writing mechanics. It emphasizes the need of effective and efficient methods. He advocates for individual instruction, nothing than group instruction. Often leads to wasteful use of time for students who may already grasp certain concepts. So, McCody's method involves students maintaining a theme file, which returns theme and an error reader, where it records error and corrections. So, correctness in writing. This one article is by Jennifer Hetal, and she writes about that how college students write in correct way of writing. College writing is primarily judged on ideas, evidence, and arguments rather than grammatically correctness. But adherence to formal writing rules promotes clarity and precision. Masteries of formal writing rules is achievable through practice and feedbacks, allowing students to present themselves well in academic settings. So our presentation is still remaining in this mechanics of writing. So after that, we can judge our own presentation through this lens, like how we need to edit many things in our dissertation, like punctuation is missing somewhere, italics is missing somewhere, quotations are missing somewhere. So on that basis, we can understand mechanics of writing in better way. In conclusion, we can say that mastering the mechanics of writing is essential for effective communication. By understanding grammar, punctuation, spelling, and style, writers can convey the ideas clearly and professionally. Attention to detail in these areas enhance readability and credibility, ensuring that intended message is resonated with the audience. Continual practice and refining of writing mechanics leads to stronger, more impactful composition, enabling writers to effectively connect with readers across various mediums and genres. So the goal of mechanics of writing is to make the writing precise and grammatically correct. So these are some references which I have used during my presentation. Now I am open for questions.
Drashti, my question is, what is the purpose of mechanics in writing?
Okay. So when we write like what we say is that academic writing, then we have to know that how we are writing our academic things. It conveys a message. When we don't write in a way that it is grammatically errorful, or we can say it's not correct in words, then we can say that if we don't use mechanics of writing in our of academic writing, then doesn't convey a message what we want to convey through our research or what we want to say. It's like unprofessional kind of thing, and it doesn't convey a clarity of ideas, and it's not look like it's a consistent things. So yeah, that's why we use that mechanics of writing in our academics, and this is the purpose of mechanics of writing.
Drashti, how can writer improve their mechanical skills?
Yes. Like we all are writers nowadays because we have written a dissertation. So we can say that if we don't use this kind of like there are many tools for the error-free writing, grammar. I have given example of Grammarly. So if we don't use these things, then we cannot improve our writing. Like through proofreading, we can improve our reading, improve our mechanical skills. Like from feedback from our mentors or our teachers, it can be also improve our mechanical skills. And we use resources like as I mentioned apps for that. So that's the way we improve our mechanical skills, through this kind of apps and feedbacks, and that our friends also include in that. So yeah, that's the way of improving our mechanical skills. Thank you. I hope you are satisfied with my answers. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. On the third day of our presentation, semester 4, I am going to deal with the topic forms of plagiarism. These are the contents I am going to deal with in this presentation. So first, plagiarism, the act of presenting someone else's work or ideas as one's own, is a serious offense in academic and professional setting. It undermines the principles of intellectual honesty, ethical conduct, and the advancement of knowledge. As the topic of forms of plagiarism, it is crucial to understand the various ways in which plagiarism can manifest itself. From verbatim copying to paraphrasing without attribution, from self-plagiarism to ghost writing, each form of plagiarism poses a unique challenges to academic integrity. Recognizing and addressing these forms is essential for maintaining the integrity of scholarly work and fostering an environment of ethical research and writing practices. So first we have to understand what is plagiarism. The word plagiarism is derived from the Latin word plagiarus, means kidnapper. To plagiarize means to commit literary theft, and to present a new and original an idea of a product derived from an existing source, as Merriam-Webster dictionary define this thing. Plagiarism involves two kinds of wrongs: using another person's idea, information, or expression without acknowledging that person's work constitutes intellectual theft. Passing off another person's idea, information, or expression as your own to get a better grade or gain some other advantage constitute a fraud. Plagiarism is sometimes a moral and ethical offense rather than legal or sin. Some instances of plagiarism fall outside the scope of copyright infringement, a legal offense. These are the forms of plagiarism. So first, repeating of paraphrasing wording. Borrowing someone else's word or ideas, but then saying you got them from a different person. You give credit, but to the wrong person.
Here in the MLA handbook for writers of this research paper, in this book, there is the example given for this form that the sentence Emily Dickinson firmly believed that we cannot fully comprehend life unless we also understand death would be considered plagiarism without proper attribution. Citing the source allows you to state the idea as the Wendy Martin in the Columbia Literary History of the United States, page number 625, argues that Emily Dickinson firmly believed that we cannot fully comprehend life unless we also understand that. This MLA format we have to cite when we use this sentence, that we have to give name of the author, that this is written by Wendy Martin and page number as well. This is called the proper work citation, and when we did or do this, then it is not considered as plagiarism. Then taking up a particularly apt phrase, when someone uses a phrase made by another author, for example, the term lingua culture emphasizes the intertwined nature of language and culture as explored by Michel Egger in Language Shock Understanding the Culture of Conversation. It is important to cite the source when using this term to avoid plagiarism, as it's a specific concept developed by another author. If one want to use this lingua culture word, then he or she has to give the name of the author, like that Michel Egger use or term this word lingua culture. Then paraphrasing an argument or presenting a line of thinking. Failing to cite someone else's idea, even if rephrased, constitute plagiarism. For example, humanity faced a dramatic shift according to Alvin Toffler in the third wave. He argues we are on the verge of the most significant social and cultural transformation ever experienced, essentially building a new civilization from scratch. Here, if we want to use this term, the third wave, we have to cite Alvin Toffler, that he has given this term, then global or complete plagiarism. Global plagiarism is the most safer form where you present someone else's complete work as your own. This can involve submitting another author's work without any attribution, essentially claiming their intellectual property. Global plagiarism is readily detectable and carries harsh consequences ranging from failing grades to legal issues depending on the copyrighted nature of the work. Then verbatim or direct plagiarism. Copying someone else's words directly into your work without quotation marks or citing the source. These include even minor changes like swapping a few words. It's considered a serious academic offense because it undermines intellectual honesty and gives you credit for someone else's work. When using another's exact word, enclose them in quotation marks and provide an in-text citation after the quote. Then source-based plagiarism. Copying word for word from a source without using quotation marks or providing a citation is considered direct plagiarism or source-based plagiarism. Rephrasing or rewording someone else's ideas or information without acknowledging the original source is form of source-based plagiarism. Neglecting to properly cite sources, even when using one's own words, is considered plagiarism as it failed to give credit to the original authors. Reusing one's own previously published or submitted work without proper citation and acknowledgement is known as self-plagiarism, which is also considered a form of source-based plagiarism. Then ghostwriting. Ghostwriting can be a form of plagiarism depending on the level of transparency and authorship attribution. If the credited person has minimal involvement and the ghostwriter's role is concealed, it became plagiarism. Acceptable ghostwriting involves clear contract outlining the authorship and contributes among the writer, client, and publisher. Ghostwriting is common in certain like celebrity memoirs. However, proper disclosure is crucial. Then self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism occurs when an author reuses their own words, ideas, or data from a previously published work without appropriate citation or acknowledgement. It is considered unethical because it violates the principle of academic integrity and many mislead readers into thinking that the work is entirely new and original. The extent to which self-plagiarism is acceptable or unacceptable depends on various factors such as the field of study, the intended purpose of the reuse, and the specific guideline or policies of the publisher or institute. In some cases, self-plagiarism may be permissible for if the reused material is properly cited and the author has obtained the necessary permission from the original publisher. Then accidental plagiarism. Accidental plagiarism often occurs due to poor note-taking practices when writers fail to properly distinguish their own thoughts from those of others. It can also result from a lack of understanding of citation conventions or a misunderstanding of what constitute plagiarism. Paraphrasing or quoting without proper attribution is a common form of accidental plagiarism, even if the writer did not intend to represent the work as their own. In some cases, accidental plagiarism may result from cultural differences in understanding of intellectual property and citation practices. So these are the forms of plagiarism. In conclusion, the forms of plagiarism we have discussed today highlight the complexity of this issue, from unintentional errors in citation to deliberated acts of deception. Plagiarism takes many shapes and forms. It is our collective responsibility as scholars, researchers, and professionals to uphold the highest standard of academic integrity and ethical conduct. By understanding and addressing these various forms of plagiarism, we can create an environment that values original thought, promotes proper attribution, and foster a culture of respect for intellectual property. Ultimately, by embracing ethical practices and maintaining vigilance against plagiarism, we can ensure the authenticity and credibility of our work and contribute to the continued advancement of knowledge in our respective fields. These are the references. Thank you. If you have any question, then you can ask.
Gayatri, my question is self-plagiarism, reusing your own work without proper citation, a serious offense? How does it differ from traditional plagiarism, and when might it be acceptable?
As I have mentioned in my presentation, that self-plagiarism is something which is related to some plagiarism, like one has used one's own material or one thing and in their other work, and this is kind of different from traditional plagiarism. That in traditional plagiarism, one is using another's work or poems or anything, but in self plagiarism, it is using its own work or things, and it might be acceptable when the author has given the proper citation or proper things that I have used these things in my work previously, and if they give this type of citation or work cited, then it can be accepted.
So, Gayatri, my question is AI advances, could it produce original content without human input, and how would this affect our view of plagiarism?
In the time of AI advancement, we can find that there is less of human input in any work. We find that everyone or most of the people are using AI tools for doing their work, and there is this limitation that AI is currently built, and we have not that much idea about this type of plagiarism. And AI-based works are not considered as plagiarized up till now, because this is not written by any humankind. But we can also say that this is written by human-based data, because AI tools are working on human-based data, and if the AI advancement is working in future, will work on in future, we we will have to think on it, and we will have to advance or reevaluate our boundaries or scenario towards plagiarism or in between human and machines.
Hello everyone, my name is Katariya Ghanshyam, and today's my presentation topic is use of web resources in academic writing. This is my personal information, table of content. In this presentation, I will focus on these topics: rise of internet and publication, internet use into research, how to conduct web search, web resources using recommended sites, difference between printed and web resources, things that needs to be careful while using the web, rise of internet and publication. The internet has become the most widely discussed computer network in all forms of media, whether it be printed, television, or radio, frequently referred to as the information superhighway. It has been virtually acknowledged to be the information panacea for an increasingly knowledge-hungry populace. The World Wide Web has become the most significant development on the internet. There has been considerable activity in the conversation of existing resources and development of new materials suitable for display and review on the web. Point and click simplicity, coupled with sophisticated search engines and advanced electronic publishing softwares, has been resulted in providing the internet readers and researchers with enormous quantity of information. Most of the top-selling international relations textbooks now features a companion online site with interactive teaching and learning resources, chapter by chapter, including suggested internet sources on that site and in the text. Publishers are offering various types of online products as supplements for courses topics, sometimes independent of the particular text used, and as course packs. The information culture is changing rapidly regarding inputs, use, and access. The internet uses into research. The internet and its uses in higher education have improved educational development and research, and has encouraged virtual interaction for sharing research findings. The rationale for internet utilization for academic and research purposes stems from the benefits derived, such as free access to online journals, magazines, and other information resources. It has been theorized that the perceived usefulness of or perceived utility is the major rationale for the acceptance of technological devices such as the internet. The recent decades research evidence has shown that the advance in information technology and the development of computers have affected students' approach to research and learning in the contemporary higher education setting. How to conduct web search? Whether you are developing a research topic or looking for research sources, use the tool for locating internet materials. You have probably used internet search engines such as Google, Windows Live, and Yahoo to find all sorts of information, but you may not have explored all the ways of searching provided by the services. If you know at the outset the exact topic you wish to search, you can perform a keyword search which produce a list of sites containing the word or words you specify. Whenever you discover what seems a useful document or site, be sure to record its address so that you can easily return to the sources for further information or clarification. You can compile a record by using the bookmark feature in your browser, copying URL and pasting them into a file into a word processor, or using research management software or sites. Now the Chrome have modified their bookmark feature more advanced, and it is very useful for this type of keeping a record of your searches. Always note the date or dates on which you consult a source. The date of access is important because the material could be revised after you visit the site. This is the case of searching online, that it can be edited anytime, and you have to be sure that when you look at the sources on which date or which time, because it can be edited by the authority of that website or portal. Web resources. Through the World Wide Web, a researcher can read and transfer material from library catalogs and millions of other useful sites created by professional organizations, government agencies, commercial enterprises, educational entities, and individual scholars. Their sites provides access to historical papers, literary works, articles in periodicals, and audiovisual materials. There is a lot of information available on the internet. Primary sources exist on the internet, and if you are writing a paper on social media, you may need to quote or reference a website like Twitter or any other social media type of website or software. So this is very helpful. All the resources. And some of these kind of resources are open libraries or university libraries or other journal and open source library or archives. And then there is this type of softwares like Google Scholar or Citation Gecko or Semantic Scholar or OpenLX, where you can find that the resources are how many times they are cited, or when they were published, or which publication was publishing that material, or how many times it is referred, and all the related materials about that topic or keyword you can find. Using recommended sites. Using the web for research requires practice and training, just as using a library does. Whenever possible, follow the guidelines of instructor and academic department or a librarian in selected internet sites for research. But nowadays we don't need this type of instructors or a guide. If you have a good device or internet connectivity, you can practice this type of research and searching online, and you can find throughout time different type of authentic and important material and resources. Meta pages that provides link to other sites. These type of meta pages are which where lots of important links are given, or hypertext are some of the most important resources and open libraries and all type of information that are available. All the links we can find on this type of page. One of this is Voice of the Shuttle, where you can find all the important resources online related to the humanities and related to humanities. But in this meta page, some of the links are now not working properly. But most of the information are given into this page, and all the links are hyperlinked here. Difference between printed and web resources. The printed resources you find in the library have almost always been thoroughly evaluated by the expert before they are published. This process of peer review is the difference between, for example, an article in Times Magazine and one in a journal such as the University of Toronto Quarterly. When books or other materials can come into the university library system, they are painstakingly and systematically catalogued and cross-referenced using procedures followed by research libraries the world over. This process is the basis for the way materials are organized in the library, and it makes possible the various search functions of the web catalog. On the internet, on the other hand, anything goes. Anyone can put anything they want on the website. There is no review or screening process, and there are no agreed upon standard ways of identifying subjects and creating cross-reference. This is the both glory and the weakness of the net. It's either freedom or chaos, depending on your point of view, and it means that you have to pay close attention when doing research online. Some of the resources have authenticity. We can say things like JSTOR or any other like Taylor and Francis, where they are providing paid versions where you can find authentic and peer reviewed resources. But not all the websites or all the platform have that type of capacity or ability to give authentic resources. Things that needs to be careful while using the web. So there are the fundamental criteria which you judge a source of information. There's an author who is writing the resource, and what is the position of that person, or the field which he is working, or his position. Date of publication. This is very important, that when the resource is published, addition or revision, if that resource was edited or revised by the publication or the author. Publisher, who is publishing the resource, is it well-known publishers, or some of the authentic, or anyone is publishing that resource. Intended audience, for whom it is published, or it is authentic for research purpose, or it is just for entertainment or for the common knowledge. Objective reasoning, and then there is a coverage and writing styles. Then website requires a second level of security, and which is what can the URL tell you? Is it it's about that? Is it about is it able to hyperlink, or you can go to other pages or not? Who wrote the page? Are they on the authoring institution, qualified authority? Is it related to the authentic institution like universities or the well-known publication, or anyone is editing or creating these kind of pages? Is it dated, current, and timely? So this is most important. That is it accurate to the time of the publication, or the relevant to the publication of the main resource? Is information cited? This is the this one is also very important, that in that resource all the information are cited correctly, or is it reliable? So we can find that by the information cited into that resource. Does the page have overall integrity and reliability as a source, or it is just copy pasted material, or not reviewed? What's the bias? Is it giving the proper knowledge by not being biased, or it is just giving personal view of things? Could the page or site be ironic, like a satire or a spoof, or it is only for knowledge and research? If you have questions or reservation, how can you satisfy them? Are they giving contacts or emails or comments section or anything that we can connect to them or contact them for our queries or question to satisfy? So these type of all the things are needed when you are using web resources, or researching through using internet and online. This is my references. And now you can ask me questions.
Ghanshyam, what are the potential challenges and limitations of relying on web resources for academic research compared to traditional library resources?
So as I have mentioned in my slides, that when you are not using traditional library resources or using the web resources, then you have to need to rectify that whether it is authentic or not, what type of publication, what type of author is publishing these resources, when it was published, is it reviewed, peer reviewed or not, is it affiliated with publishers that are authentic to their fields or not? These type of challenges are there to look out.
Ghanshyam, my question is that what are the ethical considerations involved in using web resources and academic writing, including issues like plagiarism and copyright?
So, using web resources and academic writing, first is you have to know that are you able to get web resources related to research, and then are you able to get this online or not? If you get this right, that you are getting resources and they are authentic and you are using for research, then comes the problem of plagiarism and copyright. And I think this is connected with after writing. It is for the authority or the if you are writing dissertation, then it is your teacher's concern that whether you have cheated on in the research writing or you have done plagiarism. Then comes the various softwares online that gives you plagiarism and plagiarism check and check that is it authentic or just copy pasted. So that is the answer of the question.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gopi Dervaliya, and on the third day of semester 4th presentation on research methodology, in which my topic is that use of paraphrasing in research writing. These are my personal information. In my presentation, I am going to deal with these topics. So first, what is paraphrasing? So in a simple words, that this slide mentioned describes it. Paraphrasing is the act of expressing someone else's ideas or information in your own words. So first you understand the original content, and then rewrite it. Rewrite it with some different words and sentence structures, and using the different words and sentence structures while maintaining the original source. Then a history of paraphrasing. So the history of in this slide, what is the history of paraphrasing is mentioned that the history of paraphrasing dates back to the ancient time when people used the oral tradition and use oral traditions to pass down the stories and knowledge through one generation to another. So the importance of paraphrasing. There are importance of paraphrasing in research writing. In research writing, many serve several key purposes. These are avoiding plagiarism, and then demonstrating comprehension, and improving writing quality, and integrating sources seamlessly. So types of paraphrasing. So Fred gave the 5 types of paraphrasing, like replacing words with synonyms, varying sentence structure, recording information, turning long sentences into multiple shorter ones, and then expressing abstract concepts more concretely. So through these types of paraphrasing, researchers make very successful and effective paraphrasing. Process of paraphrasing. So the process of paraphrasing involves several key steps, like read the original text thoroughly to gain a complete understanding of the ideas and concept presented. Then identify the main points and essential information you want to convey. Then set aside the original text and rewrite the main ideas in your own words without looking back at the source. So techniques of effective paraphrasing. So there are many techniques of paraphrasing, but here I mention these key techniques of paraphrasing. First is synonym substitution, then sentence restructuring, and changing word form. So through these techniques, researcher can write in more effective and successful paraphrasing. Tips for successful paraphrasing. So here are these tips of successful paraphrasing. So first is active reading. So encourage active reading of the source text before attempting to paraphrase. Engaging deeply with the material by summarizing key points and main ideas in your own words. Then consult multiple sources. Don't rely solely on one source when paraphrasing a topic. Consult several authoritative sources to gain a comprehensive and understanding. Then practice and seek feedback. Paraphrasing is a skill that improves with practice. Make an effort to regularly exercise paraphrasing different text and subject matter. Then use paraphrasing tools potentially. While online paraphrasing tools can occasionally be helpful resources, be cautious in relying too heavily upon them. These automate tools may not always accurately capturing nonsense or preserve the intended meaning. If utilizing them, carefully review and revise the tool's output to ensure it properly conveys the original ideas. Ultimately, these tools should supplement, not replace your own paraphrasing abilities. So these are some examples of from original text to paraphrased. Challenges of paraphrasing. So benefits and challenges are two sides of coins that which has its benefits also has its challenges. So here are some challenges of paraphrasing. One of the most prevalent challenges is inadvertently mimicking the sentence structures of the original text. This can result in unintentional plagiarism. Second is sometimes researchers may struggle to find alternative ways to express complex ideas, leading to inadequate paraphrasing. To address this challenge, it's beneficial to engage in active reading and comprehension of the original text. Then another challenge is ensuring that the paraphrased version accurately reflects the original meaning and intent of the source material. To overcome these, researchers should focus on capturing the essence of the original ideas rather than merely replacing words with synonyms. And then some researchers may lack confidence in their paraphrasing abilities, leading to anxiety or avoidance of the task altogether. To build confidence, it's important to practice paraphrasing regularly. So AI paraphrasing tools. So yes, online paraphrasing tools are software application designed to rewrite text in a way that remains the original meaning while using different words and sentence structures. So these are some AI paraphrasing tools, as Bhavyata mentioned in her presentation about these tools. So I am not going to deep into that. Benefits of using online paraphrasing tools. So paraphrasing tools are more benefits for us, like it's save our times, enhance productivity, it's improve our language and avoiding plagiarism. To conclude, paraphrasing is an indispensable skill for research writers. It allows for the seamless integration of external sources and ideas into one's own work while avoiding pitfalls of plagiarism and excessive quoting. When executed effectively, paraphrasing demonstrates comprehensive understanding of sources material, promotes cohesive narrative flow, improves overall writing abilities, and upholds academic integrity, benefiting the writer, their research, and the wider scholarly community. As an essential tool for substanting arguments and analysis, paraphrasing merits dedicated development by all academics and students. These are my work citation. Thank you.
Gopi, what is the difference between paraphrasing and plagiarism in research writing?
Okay. So, plagiarism and paraphrasing are two concepts of in research writing with significant differences. So, first, paraphrasing is paraphrasing. Plagiarism involves using someone else's ideas, words, and work without proper acknowledgement and attribution. For example, plagiarism includes copying and pasting text directly from original text and without proper citation and quotation marks as well as closely paraphrasing without giving credit to the original author. And on the other hand, while paraphrasing involves restating someone else's ideas and information in one's own words, and while maintaining original meaning. So, for example, paraphrasing includes citing the original text and also giving credit to the original author. So, this paraphrasing and plagiarism both are different from each other.
Gopi, my question is: in what ways can technology assist researchers in paraphrasing effectively?
Okay, so as I mentioned in my slide that some AI paraphrasing tools that technological tools such as paraphrasing softwares can help researchers to can help to research to some potential issues and then their issues and give their give their paraphrasing and suggest some alternative phrasing. However, research writers should use these tools judiciously and also revive and review their paraphrased content and to review and revise their paraphrased content to ensure their quality. Thank you.
Very good noon to you all. On the third day of presentation season, semester 4 in the paper of research methodology, my today's topic is defining plagiarism, types and solutions to avoid it in research writing. These are my academic details, and this is the table of contents in which I am going to deal with introduction, defining plagiarism, types and guidelines for avoiding plagiarism. Introduction. So, plagiarism becomes one of the major issue in the field of research writing, and it is considered as an ethical as well as It is considered as a moral as well as ethical offense. In recent times, we can see that we all are living in the technological era in the 21st century, where digital tools as well as AI tools like Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, and running websites are becomes very much handy, and we all are using it very frequently. And in my opinion, that becomes one of the major and prominent reason in increasing the case of plagiarism. In Dr. Harish Kumar's article titled Plagiarism Overview, What a Research Scholar Should Know, in that he defined plagiarism as taking someone else's work without crediting them, and one must place quote marks around other people's words, credit sources, and also offer citations when adopting other people's ideas, even if one paraphrasing them. Plagiarism and idea theft were rampant in every creative disciplines. Origin of the word plagiarism. Bernhardt traces the etymology of the word plagiarism derived from the Latin word plagiaris, means kidnapper, plundered, or literary thief. From plagium, kidnapping, from plaga, snare, or net. The word plagiarism involves literary theft, stealing by copying the words or ideas of someone else and passing them off as one's own without crediting the source. Plagiarism is not a new phenomenon. Copying from the other writers is probably as old as writing itself, but until the advent of mass-produced writing, it remained hidden from the public gaze. That is how we can see the etymology of the word plagiarism. And as I have mentioned in my earlier slides, that it is not that we can see the plagiarism in very recent times. It is always there. But now, as we are more frequently use the AI tools and the websites, now we came to know that what is plagiarism and how everyone is involved in the case of plagiarism in one way or the another way. According to Thomas Mellon, 1989, in his book Stolen Words, Forays into the Origins and Ravages of Plagiarism, he mentioned in his book that the Elizabethan playwright Ben Jonson was the first person to use the word plagiary to mean literary theft at the beginning of the 17th century. So Ben Jonson is the first person who used this word, plagiarism. Definitions of plagiarism. There are many scholars who define the word plagiarism in their own way, and in the previous presentations some of them also define plagiarism, so I'm not going deep into it, but one point I want to mention is that plagiarism in research, the complete guide ebook explains that plagiarism can be described as the not so subtle art of stealing an already existing work, violating the principles of academic integrity as well as fairness. It can be defined as representing a part of or the entirety of someone else's work as your own, whether published or unpublished. This could be ideas, text, verbatim, infographics, etc. It is no different in the academic writing either. So we can see that not only in plagiarism is not only happened in academic writing or in the field of research or literature, but plagiarism is committed by everyone in one or the other way, or we can see in many fields, but there it might be different, and in this we can also see in a different way. What is plagiarism? In the book of MLA Handbook for Writers of Research PDF, it says that plagiarism involves two kinds of wrongs: using another person's ideas, information, or expression without acknowledging that person's works constitutes intellectual theft. Passing off another person's ideas, information, or expression as your own to get a better grade or gain some other advantage constitutes fraud. Plagiarism is sometimes a moral and ethical offense rather than a legal one, since some instances of plagiarism fall outside the scope of copyright infringement, a legal offense. So there are many types of plagiarism, and Aarti also mentioned in her presentation about the types of plagiarism, and it can be defined in many different ways. But here I have put 2 or 3 major types of plagiarism, and in that one is intentional or unintentional. Intentional plagiarism occurs when the author deliberately or intentionally or knowingly copies entire text, which includes paragraph or data, and present is as its own. While unintentional plagiarism occurs when the author either is not aware of such researches as well as unaware of the ethics in writing or does not know how to cite and thus present similar articles. So in intentional plagiarism, when the author do it or does it deliberately because he knows that it is not the correct way of doing, but still he or she is copying it from from already existing work. While the unintentional plagiarism occurs when we are lacking the proper knowledge about the references as well as how to cite. Then page writing. This plagiarism occurs when a new author uses the previous article text by replacing, recording, or rephrasing the words or sentences to give it new look without acknowledging the original author. The American Medical Association Manual of Style describes this type of plagiarism as borrowing the ideas and opinions from an original source and a few verbatim words or phrase without crediting the original author. In this type of case, the plagiarist intervened his or her own ideas and opinions with those of the original author, creating a confused and plagiarized mass. Then self-plagiarism, and this happened when the author has added research on a previously published article, book, contributed chapter, journal, and present it as a new without acknowledging the first article or taking permissions from the previous publisher. And the last one is ghostwriting. This type of plagiarism, the main contributor is not given due acknowledgement, or someone who has not contributed is given due credit. So these are the 4 types of plagiarisms. There are other types of also, but here I have tried to include this many. Then reasons of plagiarism, lack of awareness of plagiarism, that like if we are completely lacking the knowledge that what is plagiarism and how it can happen. So that awareness is very important. We should know, and we have to know whenever we are in any field. Like it is not necessary that only literature students can aware about the plagiarism, but any field we must know about it. So that is how awareness is very important. If we are lacking that, it obviously leads to plagiarism. Then lack of training in report writing and citing, lack of time management skills. Obviously, this we can imply in our today's time, as well as when we are lacking time management skills. As we are in a very hurry, or we have to complete in a given due date or time, we find some relevant articles. Then if we find it relevant to our topic, then we will copy paste it and show it as our article. But if we are having time, then we will read that article, and then we try to see that how we can imply it in our topic. So that is how, if we are lacking the time, then it leads to plagiarism. Then other reasons are like academic pressure, peer pressure, and unawareness of adequate citation methods. So citation methods is also very important, that we should all are aware about it. Then how to avoid plagiarism. So Aarti already mentioned in her presentation that how to avoid plagiarism. So I am not discussing this. And but here I have mentioned few guidelines for avoiding plagiarism. Uniqueness is the key to keeping work apart from the rest of the world. Unique ideas grow each time as it is the outcome of reading and studying that promotes self-development and creates a better view for further studies. Here are few guidelines that may help in avoiding plagiarism. Writers must acknowledge the value of contributors to their work. As Gopi also mentioned in her previous presentation, that in plagiarism, acknowledgement is very necessary. So whenever we are taking something from anyone's article or book, we should acknowledge the person. Then text taken from any source must be placed between quotation marks within in-text citation. As sir also told us that what is the importance of in-text citation, so that is we all know. And while summarizing someone else's work, one must ensure that original text meaning remains the same. So that is how when we are using or referring someone's work, we cannot change the entire meaning. The meaning remains the same, but we can put our own arguments and put our own arguments in that. So that is how these guidelines can help us very much in how to avoid plagiarism. In conclusion, I would like to say that avoiding plagiarism is very much necessary, and also it is a paramount that because academic integrity and plagiarism both are the concepts that can go parallelly. Because if we are doing plagiarism, then one have to compromise or sacrifice the academic integrity as well as academic honesty. So that is how awareness about plagiarism and to avoid plagiarism is very much important in today's time. And these are my references which I have taken, and now I'm open for questions.
Hetal, my question is, how can educators and institutions support students in developing deeper understanding of plagiarism and its consequences?
Okay. Yes. Educators and institutions must support students in developing a deeper understanding of plagiarism and consequences. Because if it will not happen, then we will never be able to learn such things. That how you, whenever I was in my BA program, at that time even I don't know about all these things, because it is not like that. As a student, as a student, whenever you are in a student life, you know everything. You can learn any new thing at every stage. Like, so that is how, if the workshops and this kind of awareness will not happen, then the student will never be able to gain understanding about plagiarism consequences as well as other topics which are related to research methodology. So in my opinion, if institutions or educators really want their students to develop such understanding, then they should organize such kinds of workshops to acknowledge the students about these types of things, which is very relevant in our recent times.
Hetal, can plagiarism occur even if you don't directly copy someone else's work?
In my opinion, plagiarism can occur if we don't directly copy. Means copying someone's words. Every words we are copying from someone's else's articles or journals. It obviously leads to plagiarism. But if we only take reference from the articles, for example, if we find any article, then we read the entire article, then we analyze that article, that what are the arguments and what the author wants to prove in this particular, and then we will try to see and put it in our perceptions, then it may not lead to plagiarism. So that is, I think, in my opinion, it can define in that way. Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Hina and today the third day of our presentation, season 4. I'm going to deal with the topic selection of a topic in literature. These are my personal information. Some points which I'm going to deal in my presentation, introduction, and then importance of selection of a topic, converting ideas into research topics selection based on observation of research trends in the world, topic selection, an example, finding appropriate focuses, World Wide Web components, difficulty of topic selection, online tools and platforms, and then conclusion and resources. Introduction. SRB Smith comments that it is very rare for students to have a clear focus from the outside of their research, and yet many find the lack of a clear focus is a major impediment to getting started. Finding a topic for research is time taking and as well toughest thing, and it also on the other side it also an exciting thing. Education is on the rise all over the world. With its development in the world of education, it has to face many problems. In the world, researchers are constantly trying to solve problems. Scientific studies and literary studies and successful solution of the problem is not an easy process. To solve this problem, one has to go through a series of steps. For this, the researcher has to identify the problem about the research topic. The topic is not researchable until the problem is properly identified. So, whenever scholar or student find the topic, they also properly know about the problems which is related to their interested topic. Importance of selection of a topic. The research is born out of necessity. The researcher itself needs to know in the present situation from which the problem can be selected. One's research should be helpful, and one's research should be helpful to other. That is the one of the important thing in selecting a topic. And getting a research problem is often a frustrating experience for a researcher. After looking at the research paper that come out every year, what is left for us now is that there is such a frustration on which research can be done, but the horizons of knowledge are expanding. Uncultivated research fields are emerging, hence that problems for research will never be lost. But as a researcher, they should understand that they do not have the ability to identify the right problem. And converting ideas into research topics. Once researchers have ideas, they need to evaluate those ideas critically to come up with potential research topics. This process involves the following not and following steps. First step is topic of interest. So researcher student should take a topic which is their which is around their interest. And other thing is topics appropriate to the discipline. Researchers' interest should be either in the core discipline or in closely related disciplines. Narrow down the broad topic to a specific topic. And the last thing is feasibility of a study. And it is necessary to assess the feasibility of potential topic, whether the project can be undertaken with available resources in the term of manpower, time frame, financial equipment, and other facilities. And research topic selection based on observation of research trends in the world. Researcher or student should choose a topic which is relevant to present time as well as their interest. According to Dr. Fitri Karanisa, cognitive experience, research topic can be explored from research trends that are taking place throughout the world. Global issues that become world trending topics inspired him to design research with actual global topics or issues. For an example, local issues related to global warming, food security, etc. And nevertheless, according to Dr. Fitri Karanisa, from the existing global issues, we must look for more specific issues that people have not researched yet. Because even through the research topic has been raised as a world trend, we must still take into account the more specific issues. Researchers should take a topic which is relevant to the present time and which can be helpful for other students or other researchers. And that research also include issues and other important things. Topic selection and example. The identified research topic was evaluated with reference to the FRIENDS framework. Here is the framework. F is for principal, and R is for relevant, and I is for interesting, E for ethical, N for narrow, and D for discipline, and S for supervised. This is the frame which is represent proper how to choose a topic for research. Finding appropriate focus. Preliminary reading is essential as one evaluate and refine topics. Consulting print and electronic form, general reference works such as encyclopedia, as well as articles and books in the areas you are considering. One can also refine their topic by doing subject research in reference database and in online catalogs and through internet search tools. And such preliminary reading and searches will also let one to know if enough work has been done on the subject to permit adequate research and whether the permanent source materials are reading accessible. And World Wide Web compounds difficulty of topic selection. Uh, Increasing access to the internet and the World Wide Web has compounded the problem of topic selection. On the other hand, potential topics of students are now virtually unlimited. By using cycle space, each student can choose a topic of high interest. On the other hand, the explosion of the topic possibilities brings an equally explosive change that the student will select a topic inappropriate for a school research assignment. The teacher can control the student's access to inappropriate website during the school hours, but there is no guidance that the student using a home computer will not use a poorly chosen topic as a jumping off point for accessing and eventually bringing to school inappropriate material. The students' parents and World Wide Web is the one of the aspect which is helpful for selecting a topic, and it is also misused by the student. And there is many online tools and platforms which is helpful for selecting a topic. Connected papers. First is connected papers. One can build a graph of papers relevant to the particular field and discover prior or derivatives works in their field of interest. Artisanality is also one of the example. Then alpha signal is example, and using Google Scholar is one of the example. Google Scholar is one can add personalized keywords, field researchers, and get notification whether any paper relevant to them gets uploaded. So these are some online tools and platforms which are important to select a topic for a research. Conclusion: the choice of a research topic is governed primarily by the interest and passion of a researcher. The research interest is normally limited to the core or related discipline to the acceptable to the supervisor and the university. Narrow and focused topic that might advance the scientific knowledge or solve practical problems or might benefit society are further examined from the feasibility and ethical aspect. This framework is for the topic selection, which incorporates different aspects might be useful for the research scholars in a general. In a general. So when one scholar or student trying to search topic, they they find the topic which is relevant to their interest, and as well as which can also connect with the present scenario. Then that can be a good research topic, as well as it also impact in a good way. These are some resources. Do you have any questions?
Hina, should one prioritize selecting a topic that aligns with the current trends in literature research?
Choose a trendy topic is a great thing. It is the when scholar or student choose a topic which is relevant to the present time, then it and present time, and it is also It is also interesting topic for others in a present time. That is then that can be a great topic, and it takes many citations as well as it is impact in a good way. And one important thing that student or researcher should take in their mind, that that topic is based on that research, based on their interest, so they can they can give more time and effort to their research areas, and the other thing is that um, they can make a balance. They should make a balance in their topic, so they can so they can explore their topic in a better.
Hina, my question is that what role does personal interest play in selecting a research topic?
Uh, Personal interest in selecting a research topic is played a personal interest in the research topics significant role in the topic for literature writing. If one student and research scholar have interest in that topic, then they can spend more time and invest their effort into that topic. And if one likely that topic, that they are they if that topic in the end that topic become a qualitative work. Thank you.
Okay, so quite well presented, most of you, and a few things from questions. Also, some interesting questions were also asked by. When you talk about plagiarism on web resources, you may find some interesting manner in which the infographically things might be presented. So that can be used to make it more interesting. For example, this Turnitin document, which I think in one of the workshops perhaps we have discussed maybe when you were in first or second semester, 10 types of unoriginal, that also is a word, unoriginal work. So many people consider this word plagiarism a bit negative, so original or unoriginal. And then this clone, control C, find, replace, remix, recycle, hybrid. That is how also they use. And then they give this graphic. How many times they have done a survey, and out of that they have found that how it is reflected also. Echo sound. Are you getting proper something that in that mic? Okay. Yeah, maybe I have put it on. Okay, so out of that frequency, how many times that kind of plagiarism happens, and to what extent is it problematic? Both are given. So frequency of cloning is 9.5, and it is highly problematic also. Find and replace is less problematic. Remix is very less problematic. Hybrid is less problematic. So that way they try to give the value to the way of ways of doing plagiarism by students, and how it is problematic or not, how serious it is. So that way one can find some examples to talk about that also. Then there are these questions of rules also. Aarti was asked this question about rules and other things. So, for example, uh, you can talk about UGC rules. So UGC rules, like in one of the presentations, I think by Avani, there was reference to NEP. NEP also is talking about that. Academic dishonesty is also the same part. So how the rules are published by the government institutions, Gazette of India, Bharat ka Rajpatra, and whatever comes here becomes the rule. So even if people will go to court, the court will read the rules. And so this is what is to be read. We get it in both the languages now, Hindi and English. So if we see this notifications, then it defines everything. How to curb plagiarism, similarity checks, that is another word, similarity checks, levels of plagiarism. So up to 10% it is allowed, up to 10%. Then 10 to 14 is level 1, 40 to 60 is level 2, above 60 is level 3 of plagiarism. And there are penalties also for all these things. So penalties for plagiarism. Up to 10%, no pledge, no penalty. And then such student, like 10 to 40%, shall be asked to submit a revised a copy script within a stipulated time period, not exceeding 6 months. Then if it is 40 to 60%, such student shall be debarred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. So if your dissertation has this 40 to 60, then after 1 year you have to come again to submit your dissertation. And about 60, such student registration for that program shall be cancelled. So you have to say bye-bye to MA program in the last semester after making all presentations and everything. You will have to leave without taking a degree of masters if it is above 60%. The same way, even for supervisors and academic scholars, also there are this penalties. So if it is 40 to 60%, then they should not be allowed to supervise either masters in dissertation or MPhil. Now we don't have MPhil under NEP. Then PhD students also for a period of 2 years. The guideship will be taken. And if it is more than 60%, then for 3 years, the teacher should not be allowed to do that. So there are penalties which goes from student to teachers also. So that way, this is there. So such rules can be referred and discussed also, that how this can be seen. This is about self-plagiarism also, wherein people do once a survey or research, and then they keep on using the outcome of one done survey or research in various writing. So that also becomes problematic, and for that also things are given that how it can be. What if people are doing self-citation, it will not be counted as citation. Point number 3 tells you that if people do, then it will not be considered as citations there. So such rules can be referred to when we talk about it. And real life examples need to be given. Anybody has given that or not? Then we can. many such cases keeps on happening at different levels. So whether you can search and find these examples or not. So in many this ways that newspaper items might be there, that Hungarian president resigns amid plagiarism scandal. So even many politicians, ministers, when they complete their PhDs and they become president, prime ministers, or ministers also, they have to resign from those cases. And there are many other cases where people committed suicide also when it was openly being discussed in newspapers. Another in Surat only, once the case happened with the English teacher where she committed suicide because of that. So even today you will search Surat, plagiarism, MPhil, you will find the entire story from Times of India or Indian Express newspapers also. So such real life examples needs to be discussed when you talk about this thing that can help us understand the things in a better manner also. Okay, then yes, Anjali also talked on bibliography and citations. Okay, that was well defined, differentiated. Academic honesty, Avani also talked about. There is also this reference of open book system. So now we need to look at this very idea of dishonesty in a different manner. What we were considering cheating once upon a time. Now that is becoming collaboration also. So what is the difference between collaborative practices and cheating practices? There is so when people work together or people are allowed to work with the books, but in that case, question papers will be of a different nature, where answers are not directly given. So even if you have a book, you cannot find everything pinpointed. So nature of question changes. With the help of the book, you have to prepare your answer. So in the mathematics, if calculator is allowed, calculator will not give you the final answer. But it can take help of calculator, but still the sum is to be done by the students. The same way things are changing. Now we also have to think about AI also in the similar manner, that with the help of AI, how people can work and how we have to redefine academic dishonesty also. I think there were one or two questions about the same thing related to either academic dishonesty or internet and how one can look at ethics and other things. So recently, some very interesting examples are taking shape about people using AI for writing. This was the case which became quite viral on Twitter. And uh, here, one website has put it on this website that Science Direct, Elsevier journal, which is very reputed journal. This is very reputed. We call it Scopus Index. So highly reputed journal. In that journal, when this article is published, uh, this article. So in the introduction only, this text is coming up. You can read and you can understand that from where the text has come. So the person who has written this article has copy pasted from ChatGPT directly. And we can imagine that even the editors perhaps were not aware, or maybe editors or some people are not using it. So they don't know that this is the text generated by ChatGPT. Certainly, here is a possible introduction. So so when we use, we know what is the style of writing. But maybe the people involved with this paper, proofreading, revisions, and everything, they were not aware, or they have not used ChatGPT. So they don't know that this is not a human written text, but it is the text written by this. But it is still there. Even right now, I check the website to see whether it is still there or not. So it is there. That paper is uh, there on this official Science Direct website. Uh, This is another example here. I think this example we'll have to see in the summary. There is the thing there. This is the available one. Here you can see this. The text is as it is even today. So what they have said, this publishers and they in the same comment, if we read, we find here they have told that we allow using ChatGPT. So legally, here I'll see here. They have replied in tweet. Our policies are clear that LLMs, large language models, can be used in the drafting of papers as long as it is declared by the authors on submission. So they have to declare that they have taken help of this to write. We are investigating this paper and are in discussion with the editorial team and the author also. But still, this happened on 14th March. Even today's article is as it is. After this many days also, it is still there. And Nature is another very reputed journal, Nature journal. They have also put that they allow the use of LLMs to edit the paper to get ideas or language correction, but they will not allow it to be used as co-author. Initially, as a co-author also it was allowed, but now they are resisting because there are legal provisions that if something goes wrong, something is wrong in the article or any kinds of thing that's written on blog or YouTube or anywhere, if there is a machine, then how can you take legal action against machine? If there is a human, then you can take legal actions against the human. But machines do not have legal identities. So it is very difficult to take. How can you imprison an AI machine? You can imprison a human being. So on that ground, they are now denying as a co-author. But you can write in the footnotes those things. So these are very real life examples which are taking shape. This is another article. So here, if you see, so in summary, the management of bilateral iatrogenic, then no punctuation mark, nothing. I am very sorry, but I don't have access to real-time information or person-specific data as I am an AI language model. I can provide general information about managing hepatic artery portal. So how the copy-paste errors are done by, and these are very reputed journals and very reputed people, science people. Normally they make fun of arts people. That arts people don't do anything, but we are at least good in cut, copy, paste. Background, we can remove background color. So we don't make such stupid mistakes, at least when it comes to these things. So these are some things which we need to see, or we can see when we talk about these examples. And now this tools are coming up slowly and steadily to talk about plagiarism detection. Like nowadays, we have this drill bit being suggested by UGC to be used, and this drill bit where we have to give our articles or thesis submitted by the scholars, and that should be less than 10% certificate we have to procure from Drillbit, and it will suggest from wherever the things are taken and other things. And they have now added one column of AI detection. This way, they say that it seems to be, there is no guarantee. The data is not stored in any server for AI. It is very difficult to tell whether it is really from AI only or not, but they try to suggest. Possibly, it seems to be. Though it is not so also. This is my own article. So I know that this part is not taken from AI part also. So, though 4%, but that is also not correct evaluation done by this, but it will suggest many things, like 7%. If it is there, then also from where 7% is taken. So this all resources from where it will suggest. So this way, how it works, it is still not foolproof kind of thing, but still, this is how one can see about how things are shaping. If we see in Google Classroom also has started giving us this. So not fully, but some part of the things are given by this. So when you submit the work here in the column, we find here, you see this column. My cursor is there. 11 flagged passages. So originality report, web matches 11. 11 cited or quoted passages also, if you put on, that it will increase the thing. So 28% content and 19% cited content. So that way it also gives. So 8% from this web match, from which website that part is taken, and then this one with web sources, and it is cited. So it is showing here it is cited in the references. So this is how it says this, that how things are taken from various sources. Something that is not cited, used but not cited, that also it will show. So this way, this it gives a report also. This one can get a printed copy also. Original report from Google Classroom. So this way detailing is being done, which the students are supposed to study and see that how things I have taken, what I need to paraphrase, how I have cited things properly or not, and that all work with it, they get to learn. Okay, so some tools were also discussed by Bhavyata, and I think Gayatri also talked about the SQL bot is quite popular nowadays, and even generative AI, any other tool also can help in paraphrasing the things in a significant manner. In Ghanshyam's presentation also, there was this point of how things can be done. Turnitin has released this white paper also about research in digital era. So what's wrong with Wikipedia? This evaluating the source by the seer, SEER. So they are giving this rubric that on these parameters, things can be evaluated. This authority, educational value, intent, originality, and quality. Wherein we try to see that the point of authority is very important. The person who is the writer, is that person highly regarded as an expert in that area or not? That will play a very significant role in deciding. So, who is the person? First, there should be a person, and then who is that person? That way we have to. If you don't find a person, then we say that don't rely on that internet resource when you are doing research writing. In paraphrasing, Gopi also presented, and some examples were given. So you can also make your own examples. Now, because of AI tools, you can try some AI tool and see, you can give something in your own manner and see how that AI tool is helping you to prepare the thing. That way, your presentation becomes more live also. That you have worked and you have seen this tool and you talk that how it has been paraphrased, and you can analyze that what changes are being made while paraphrasing those things. So that thing you need to add because this is more practical. So more practical things can be done. Even in Hina's presentation last one, research topic. So you can ask your own classmate. You all have done research topic selection. So what were the problems? How you came to that topic? You can ask them, and what are real issues that you face? Real issues in facing in society that can be easily done with 10, 15, 20, whoever gives the response that can be prepared. So then it becomes real that things are said in this or that manner. But what really happens with the people when they are in search of such topic, what problems they face also. Okay, so with this we end this session here.